I can call you Adonai. I can call you Shama. Well, I can call you Elohim. I can call you El Shaddai. I can call you El Elyon. I can call you El Gibor. But I choose to call you Father. I choose to call you Father. I choose to call you Father. I choose to call you Father.
Good day, viewers at home. You are welcome to another episode of Deep Waters, Deep Hearts. My name is Odeni Hamatayo. Deep Waters, Deep Hearts is a platform that is geared towards creating a community of people whose sole purpose is to fill the heart with the knowledge of the glory of God through His Word. It's a platform that is designed towards encouraging spiritual growth in the lives of people, most especially youths, leading to a demonstration of a passion for God and the things of the kingdom, thereby fostering an understanding of global issues in God's perspective. Today we're going to have a discussion forum, and we have a very interesting topic for you. But before I introduce our speakers for today, I would want you to note the significance of the lessons we're going to learn today, because I promise you it's going to be wonderful today in the next few minutes we're going to have together. The topic is the sin of Moses. The sin of Moses, and it's very important as leaders and generally as believers to be able to to learn one or two things about this very interesting topic. Before we continue, I would like to introduce our speakers to you. First of all, we have a father in the house. His name is Reverend Amos Adeniyi. He's the senior pastor of Raiment, Repairers and Restorers Ministries International, Sunnyside, Pretoria, and also in Ibadan, Nigeria. You're welcome, sir. Thank you. And then we have Aibekai Charlton Hua. He's an honors degree student of UNISA, University of South Africa. He's studying Haiti, and he's also a programmer as well. You're welcome, sir.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir. Then the third speaker for today is Farimola Samuel. He's a physiologist graduate of a Nigerian university, also from Pretoria. You're welcome, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, sir. So now straight to business. Our topic today is the sin of Moses. There was something that happened in Numbers chapter 20. Preferably, let us start reading from verse 10. Numbers 20 from verse 10. This is the NLT version. Then he and Aaron summoned the people to come and gather at the rock. Listen, ye rivers, he shouted, must we bring you water from this rock? Then Moses raised his hand and struck the rock twice with his staff, and water gushed out. So the entire community and their livestock drank their fill. Verse 12 from the last verse. But the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, because you did not trust me enough to demonstrate my holiness to the people of Israel, you will not lead them into the land I am giving them. This was in the wilderness of Zin when the people of Israel arrived. They camped at Kadesh. That was where Miriam died and she was buried. So something happened just after the first verse, the second verse here. There was a lack of water. And the people started complaining, with verbal assaults and the likes of Moses and Aaron. Give us water. Have you taken us out of Egypt to come and die here? Now here there are no grapes, there are no figs, no pomegranates, so how do we survive? But Moses did not say anything. The next thing was just to him and Aaron went to the presence of God, and God gave him 3 instructions. God said, take the rod, gather the people, gather the community, and speak to the rock. He did the first instruction, he carried out the first, he carried out the second. But the third was where the challenge is. Instead of speaking to the rock, he struck the rock, not even once, he struck twice. And God was angry with that. And that caused him, from not entering into the promised land. Okay, sir, I would like to know that what could have warranted Moses' action? And what led to that action?
We can easily get the answer to your question from Psalm 106 from verse 32. He said they hungered him also at the waters of strife, so that it went ill with Moses on account of them. In other words, what prompted Moses to do what he did was the fact that he was hungry. And if you look at the life of Moses, he has always had anger problem. He killed an Egyptian because of what? Killed. That was a climax of hunger in action. So Moses actually he came from a lineage whereby hunger is a problem. He was from the lineage of labor. And if you remember in the book of Genesis chapter 49, you remember what they did to Shechem and the people of Shechem because of Dinah. So, and eventually in Genesis 49, Jacob cursed Simon and Levi for attacking the Shechem and his people. So, I see this as a deep-rooted problem, a root issue, a foundational problem. Anger is in his lineage, and he didn't deal with it. So he acted because he was angry.
Thank you very much, sir. I want to, because in the beginning of that chapter, it was recorded that he lost his sister, Miriam. Probably he's here to recover from the death of his sister. I was just thinking, because there are times in which some things could be happening and you could flare up easily. Could that warrant his actions?
Well, I would like to say that as a leader, we ought to maintain our balance. Because for us to be a correct leader, we must be a correct follower. And though our sister died, that could result into a kind of a psychological, emotional situation for him. But he has been following God for so many times. So I think that should not warrant his action, because the consequence was very, very much on him. To the point that even the devil was trying to even, there was a fight over his custody.
Emotional issue will come in here only if we decide that someone who is emotionally low can be hungry. I don't know if you have the statistics to that, because the Bible says that the reason why he did what he did was that he was hungry. They hungered him. I mean, it's a repetition of what has happened before. There was a time they asked for water, he brought water for them out of the rock. And this time around he was hungry. So if we can link emotional issue with hunger, maybe that may be the reason why he acted. I mean, because he was low, he was down because of Miriam's death. But I think, strongly speaking, Moses is a man that is given to hunger. And at that point, because he has never been able to deal with it, he had had a lot of experiences when Jethro was able to counsel him about leadership and some other things. But he has not been able to deal with this anger issue, and it came up just at the edge of his breakthrough when he was supposed to enter the promised land. So I wouldn't agree that it's because of the death of Miriam. At this time, he was almost 120 years old. He has been leading these people for almost 40 years. And he had had experiences in Egypt, went to the university in Egypt, learned all their culture. So he was a man that I can say he was a solid man. So for you to have thought that is the emotional issue, well, we will need to do much research to understand that.
Thank you, sir.
Truly speaking, I feel like viewers at home, most of us always look at this from the biblical context. Let's go out of the biblical context a little bit. And if we were to say, we know that human actions are normally inclined to being angry by other human beings. And now, if Moses gathered the congregation, like it said in the previous verse, if Moses gathered the congregation, the problem is they might have said something to warrant it. which the Bible did not record. Okay, I'm not looking at things from that point of view, but I'm saying that now Moses not only was a leader to the children of God, we forget that he was a prince in Egypt. He was taken into the royal household, so he must have been learning leadership quality. I mean, he's led Egypt as well as even leading the people of God right now. So I think, my brother, the issue of that anger is not a matter of Moses not dealing with it, like the pastor said. It's not a matter of Moses not dealing with it, but I feel like it's the issue with the people that actually angered Moses. They might have been saying so much, and he felt like these people are not even sympathizing that my sister just died. They are still demanding, making demands, and that might have caused the anger. I'm looking at it from the physical point of view.
From the line of thought that it was the death of his
sister, yes,
that prompted the anger.
That prompted the anger.
If we look at it spiritually, as Pastor has said, it's more of a spiritual thing. Yes.
Okay, that's nice. I would like us to look at something too. It's something that baffles me in this very, very place, because in the instructions that God gave him, and we are moving to the second question now for discussion. What was the purpose of God? Why did God allow, the situation to occur in the first place? Now, God told him to take the rod, gather the people. Why did God tell him to take the rod when God himself knew that he wouldn't use the rod? I want to know, is God trying to pass the message to us by that through that situation?
Now, anything that happened in the scripture is for our learning. That is clear. It's for us to gain understanding, how to understand God and how to live our lives. Now, if God has given an instruction, it is the responsibility of Moses or any leader to adhere to the instruction of God. And is God trying to try him? No. God is telling him to speak to the rock, because there is a spiritual principle. There is a spiritual undertone for giving that instruction. Did God create that event to tempt him? No, God doesn't tempt. Are you getting me? But we must also know that in this life, any woman that is born of woman is of few years and full of trouble. So there will be time there will be water, there will be time there won't be water. So the fact that the event is created, it doesn't mean that God is trying to tempt him. But as leaders, we must know that we are supposed to listen to God and do what he commands.
Thank you very much, sir.
I think God is just to prove his supreme power. That because seeking for water in the wilderness is one of an essential imperative that the people of Israel will need, and nobody could have bring water to them in that situation. So God is trying to build the faith so that they will have faith in him. And what God wants from Moses is that Moses to be able to let the Israelites know that it's not the one doing it, but God.
Okay, just quickly to add up on that. You see, if we go back to Psalm again, chapter 107, verse 32, it says, they angered him, 106, they angered him also that. He said, they angered him also the waters of strife. So they wanted water. Now, to the commands of God, God knew what he said. Moses as well knew what he said. It was a plain instruction. But we always face challenges in life with following simple instructions. In other words, if I was to say, go there, and you can ask me, you have two options, to go there or to ask me, why do I have to go there? You understand? So Moses, at this point in time, felt like I should just do what is right to me and the people.
When you are dealing with God, it's a different ballgame. Luke chapter 12, verse 47. Any servant who knows the will of his master and does not do it shall be beaten with many stripes.
Mm.
Many stripes.
Yeah, the pastor has actually touched the dangerous topic here.
So, as a leader, a spiritual leader, you are under authority. You cannot exercise authority.
Let me also quickly ask. I'm sorry to get in. Was Moses just a spiritual leader or also a physical leader? Because remember, he had Aaron with him. You see, I feel like Moses was under pressure of the notion that he was just a spiritual leader. Let us not forget, he was a physical leader as well. He was more like a king or a president.
When we say spiritual leader, it doesn't mean he's leading in the spirit.
I like that. He's not leading in the spiritual realm.
Leading by the spiritual authority that has been conferred on him. He's exercising spiritual authority on the physical. So he's a physical.
He's a physical leader.
He's a physical authority. Now for him, he already knew that what made him to stand out is the fact that he knew the ways of the Lord. For all the followers, they will always be at that level because they are interested in the act of God. So when they need water now and the water is not there, they will still cry.
There is no God.
That's why the fact that they will say there is
no God.
That's why the fact that yesterday they received a miracle.
True.
People that are always looking for the act of God, for signs, they will always remain at the low level. Why? Because the moment there is a sign, they believe. The moment there is no sign, they don't believe. They don't understand the mysteries of God. They don't understand the ways of God. So that's the issue. For Moses, he has grown to be a leader who had worked with God for years. So he knew the gravity of disobeying God. But unfortunately, the circumstances that surrounded it was enormous anyway. The people were making noise. He just lost his sister and he had anger issues. On top of it, foundationally speaking, anger has been deep-rooted in his life. So he didn't make it.
Thank you very much, sir. We really have to go on a break now. Viewers at home, I hope you've been enjoying the discussion so far. We have to take a break now. See you shortly. Thanks.
After these things I looked, and behold, a door standing open in heaven. And the first voice which I heard was like a trumpet speaking with me.
Come up here, and I will show you things which must take place after this.
Immediately I was in the Spirit, and behold, a throne set in heaven, and one sat on the throne. And he who sat there was like a jasper and a sardius stone in appearance. And there was a rainbow around the throne, in appearance like an emerald. Around the throne were 24 thrones, and on the thrones I saw 24 elders sitting, clothed in white robes, and they had crowns of gold on their heads. And from the throne proceeded lightning, thundering, and voices. 7 lamps of fire were burning before the throne, which are the 7 spirits of God. Before the throne there was a sea of glass like crystal, and in the midst of the throne and around the throne were 4 living creatures full of eyes in front and in back. The first living creature was like a lion, the second living creature like a calf. The third living creature had a face like a man, and the fourth living creature was like a flying eagle. The 4 living creatures, each having 6 wings, were full of eyes around and within, and they do not rest day or night.
Holy, 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 Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come.
Whenever the living creatures give glory and honor and thanks to him who sits on the throne, who lives forever and ever, the 24 elders fall down before him who sits on the throne, and worship him who lives forever and ever, and cast their crowns before the throne.
You are worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power, for you created all things, and by your will they exist and were created.
Now I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away. Also there was no more sea. Then I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from heaven.
Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. God himself will be with them and be their God, and God will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There shall be no more death, nor sorrow, nor crying. There shall be no more pain, for the former things have passed away.
Then he who sat on the throne said,
Behold, I make all things new. Write, for these words are true and faithful. It is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give of the fountain of the water of life freely to him who thirsts. He who overcomes shall inherit all things, and I will be his God. He shall be my son.
Welcome back, dears at home. It's been wonderful, and we are still on Deep Waters, Deep Hearts. We've been discussing a very crucial topic, so interesting, theme of Moses. And so we are going back straight to business now. We stopped at a question: what was God's purpose for making that situation to happen? And I love the various comments. I would like us to look critically into another topic, into another question. So critically, what are the demands of leadership? The increased demands of leadership. I mean, or the demands that go with that title, leader. Because once people see you as a leader, they expect so much from you that if you should slightly do something funny, they criticize you. And he calls himself a leader, or he calls himself a Christian. So what are the demands of leadership, sir?
For a leader, someone who leads, someone who has a place is going, and he wants to take order there. Number one, he needs to stand up from the people. You can't lead the people that you're on the same level with. So you must be at a higher level than the people that you want to lead. Because looking at leadership, there are 3 E's that define leadership. Number one, envisioning. Number 2, energizing. And number 3, enabling. Envisioning means that defining clearly the vision, what you want to achieve in people. Energizing means that giving them all the information, giving them the energy. And enabling means giving them the environment, the instruments that they need to be able to do that. And now for you to be able to lead and bring about these 3 E's, then you also must be led. You must be a follower. You must be a man under authority. And biblical leadership is actually service. You must put yourself in a position to serve the people that you are leading. So, for a leader, I quoted the other times Psalm 103 verse 7. He said he revealed his ways to Moses, and his actions, his act to the people. So, for a man that will lead, he must be able to understand the why of the thing. The followers only understand the what. He must understand the why and the how. Why does it happen? How does it happen? That's what makes you a leader. But the people that are following, they only understand the what, the action. The water came out of the rock. The result. How did it come? So, for a man that will lead in this end time, I think the demand is really, really enormous now, because the world is polluted, everywhere is worldly, people are misbehaving, but a leader must not misbehave. A leader must be able to gather his emotion, even when everything is contrary. When things are not working in his way, he must be able to maintain his comportment. So, the demand is much, to be frank.
Well, my perspective on leadership is not much different from what the pastor has said, but technically I've been in situations in life where, in fact, when I'm in school, people refer to me as leadership. Why? Because I formerly led in the SLC, and now with the context of the world these days, saying that a leader is someone who just takes people for granted and who can cheat people, I want to support and vehemently say patience is one of the watchwords that a leader should have, because One thing, you are serving others. And when you're serving others, I've been in cases where I moved from 3 campuses on the same day just to show that this is how a leader should be. I was in Joburg. I left from Joburg, Florida campus to Joburg Central campus. From there, I had to go to Sunnyside campus, just sorting out a single issue of someone who I did not even know. I just met 2 weeks prior to that time. So that is just an example of leadership. I'm saying I would really like to support that. Service, as the pastor has said, is a very key element of leadership. Thank you very much.
We take us to the fact that Moses should not have been hungry because he asked for water.
Should God have not punished him?
He's not be angry because they asked for water. Because giving them water could not service. Yes. I will just add that. Moderators, I will just add that to be an effective leader, one of the demands also is humility. To be able to serve, we have to be humble. The humility is a very, very practical key.
Wait, are you saying Moses was not humble? Because in the book of Acts, the Bible was saying that he's the meekest man that ever lived.
Yes. For you to have led 3 million people.
Meekness and humility, I think they are 2 different things.
Don't let us go there now. Don't let us divert from this.
They are
they are related.
They are related.
Understand?
But
they are related.
They are 2 different.
But and then one more thing is that he's like how do they put it now? Somebody who's not eloquent in speech. He's a stammerer. Yes. And you discover that stammerers they tend to get angry easily. Yeah. So that could be one of the reasons why. What do you think?
No, we are leaving the person. We are the demand of leadership.
Because he was one who
the quality of leadership, we can be taking them one by one. But what you must know is this: in any situation that is practicable, a leader must stand out. A leader cannot be cursing, he cannot be abusing, he cannot be stealing, he cannot be lying. In every situation, when a leader is doing things, it must be distinct. So occupying the position of leadership is actually a dangerous position. In a way.
Thank you very much. We need to let us look at this question. Be the last question. Why was the severity, the punishment so severe? The severity of that punishment. God did not even give him any chance to plead for mercy. It was straight. Like, as soon as he struck the rock twice, God just told him, "You did not trust me enough to sanctify my name with the Israelites. Your name is not enter the promised land." Why was it severe? Because I've been thinking, why didn't God give him kind of a chance to even try to plead for mercy?
I think I want to say
let me say something before Pastor Randall. Let me say something before Pastor just Randall. Well, I think Moses has been working with God. So, he had a lot of privilege. There was a place that even he had the privilege to say, "God, I want to see you." So, for him it's a sin of disobedience. And that was what goes along with the consequence of what he did.
You know what? I feel like we're hammering Moses, forgetting the biblical verse that says he was the meekest man. And now, you see, one thing I've always want to place my basis on this discussion is that the punishment of Moses was severe because God expected him to be firm on his instruction. Yes, he has seen God. Yes, he has done a whole lot of things for God. But God severely punished him to show believers or to show the Israelites what is to come. That, okay, I am still a God of justice and order. If you look behind us, there are rocks here.
No, I want to agree with you on that.
Okay.
God dealing with his leaders is actually different with his dealing with his followers.
Yes.
Although the platform may be the same.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what was the punishment of Moses? Please tell me. What was the punishment?
It's like,
Okay. The Bible says, if you are willing and obedient, you will eat the fruit of the land. That's a common platform for everyone, whether leaders or followers. You've got to be willing and you've got to walk in obedience to eat the fruit of the land. That one was compromised by Moses by disobedience to the word of God. But I quoted to you Luke chapter 12, and I want to read it. I want to read from verse 46. He said, the master of that servant will come on a day when he is not looking for him, and at an hour when he is not aware, and will cut him in two and appoint him his portion with the unbelievers. And that's in verse 47, he said, and that servant who knew his master's will and did not prepare himself or do according to his will shall be beaten with many stripes. Verse 48 says, but he who did not know, yet committed things deserving of stripes, shall be beaten with few. For everyone to whom much is given, from him much will be required. And to whom much has been committed, of him they will ask the more. Can you see now that if much has been committed to you, there's much expectation? I always preach jokingly that I don't want to be beaten. Either way, if you didn't hear and you disobey, you'll be beaten. If you heard and you disobey, you'll be beaten. Either way, so I want to hear and obey. Now, for someone who knew the will of God and did not do it, the Bible says he will be beaten with many stripes. Can we have other version?
yes, I think. Master of that, is it 48 or
That will be beaten with many stripes? Do you have another version?
No. Sir.
Now, what I'm trying to say is this. As far as God is concerned, by his own principle, it's not a severe punishment for a leader. That is why when you are aspiring to be a leader, when you are receiving revelation of being a leader, you must consistently submit to God. You must live a life of total submission to God. Even Jesus said that what the Lord commands him, that is what he does. You understand? So for Moses to have displayed God in front of people of God that way, the punishment has to be severe.
I was even thinking something that, I'm on a lighter note now. When this thing happened in Exodus chapter 17, there was this situation. That was 37 years ago, when they just left Egypt. They had this kind of situation, and the instruction was strike the rock, which he did. So I was just thinking, Jesus Christ is the rock. So maybe when he struck the rock the first time, Jesus Christ, he told God, why will you allow this man to eat me? It was painful. So maybe Jesus Christ now told God and said, God, next time this thing happens, so just tell them to speak, because as he's striking me. So when he was now striking the second time, when he struck, Jesus Christ, I think God told him that. I think he told him that you should speak. Why is he now striking? Maybe God now got so angry now.
I think this is it. It's the first case when we had to strike the rock. That was a type of salvation. That was a type. The things that happened in the Old Testament, they are type of the things in the New Testament. And the things in the New Testament, they are called antitypes of the things of the New Testament. So now, what happened? What happened at that instance was the salvation. Jesus had to receive the rod for us to be saved, and that is once. He doesn't have to receive the rod twice. So the second instance is he doesn't have to strike him. He just have to speak, receive the word, believe the word, act on the word, and you get the refreshing of salvation. So the moment you are saved, you don't need Jesus to receive a beating again for you to be saved.
I feel like I have a revelation coming on that, because the second time he was struck, it means that people will always sin again. What do you think to that? Because it's just like how Judas betrayed him. I feel like we these days we're striking Jesus all over and over and over again.
I agree with you.
That is my revelation.
You've been saved,
And you still strike.
You should walk in the consciousness of your salvation and produce fruit unto righteousness.
Yes.
Not that you keep on
striking
Jesus, beating Jesus again. No, I like that part. That perspective of it as well.
Yeah.
Lastly, because our time is almost up, I just want to, and we are concluding with this. I want to start from Mr. Samuel. Is it possible that a leader who has a reputation of an excellent work with God is so frustrated that he misbehaves? General medicine, not that spiritual leadership.
Actually, many people these days, they misbehave based on the frustration that is directed to what is expected of them, demands of them. For example, now we have family members, we have husbands that misbehave because of the demands to pay bills when the income is not actually, the same with expenditure and things like that. And some, started beating their wife. What they are actually not doing, even before they get married, they started doing it and all manners of things. So I think there's some reactions that actually is engineered from frustration, circumstances that warrant the demand.
Thank you very much, sir. So, Daddy, I would like to continue.
Grace is sufficient for us. His strength is made perfect in our weakness. There are a lot of pressures. We're in 21st century. We're no longer in the olden days. There are a lot of pressures here and there. But His grace is sufficient.
Okay, in my rounding conclusion, I would like to say, yes, leaders in this generation can work efficiently with God's grace. But let's not forget and ignore the physical phenomenon to everything. Busyness, time, stress, all these things can choke up a leader that he doesn't act. But we pray that God in His infinite mercy, like the pastor has said, provide the platform and the grace for leadership.
We're talking from a perspective of balancing the things. So from my side, actually, I want to round up everything we've discussed so far, because I see a kind of we were trying to follow in the next one, because we struck the rock first. God's a God of dynamism, because dynamism attracts people. So I was thinking that was one of the reasons why God was really angry with him. So in conclusion, by just doing that, he thought it unwise to risk a new paradigm by speaking instead of striking. And so he defied the direction of God. He demonstrated the lack of faith, and then he brought a glory to himself. If he had spoken to the rest, the people would have looked to the rest, not to him. So I think that was something that I could actually infer from everything. Thank you very much. Viewers at home, we believe you've really enjoyed these few minutes with us. It's going to be another time next week. Thank you very much.